More than 50 different political parties from the Brics member states will be in South Africa to attend the ANC's Brics Political Parties Summit. We are now joined by the head of International Relations Subcommittee of the ANC, Nomvula Mokonyane, for more on this following the briefing earlier. Thank you very much, ma'am, for your time this afternoon. This is said to be an historic moment on the 18th of July. If so, these different political formations will be gathering in the name of what?
Thank you very much for inviting us. The gathering will be under the theme Partnership for Mutually Accelerated Growth, Sustainable Development and Inclusive Growth. It is a gathering that is taking place for the second time in the shores of our country, hosted by the African National Congress, and in attendance we'll have not less than 54 political parties representing parties that are in power, as well as our sister parties throughout the world.
Specific selection criteria when it comes to the different political parties that will be in attendance?
The first to consider are the parties that constitute Brics. Included in that are also those parties that have got a historical relationship with the African National Congress and may not be in political office. And then there will be parties that have also applied or expressed interest to be part of Brics. And lastly, it will be parties that also stand an opportunity of working together with the Brics parties within Brics, but also those that have got bilateral relationships with the members of Brics.
Who are some of the political parties that have already indicated their attendance, more so from the African continent?
We've got Frelimo, we've got MPLA, we've got various parties also, such as the PLO from Palestine, two different parties coming from organizations coming from Palestine. We also have parties from SADC that are also going to be here. ZANU-PF is also going to be in attendance. We've got parties from Botswana, both the ruling party, but also the sister party of the African National Congress. So the list is quite long, and it's very diverse, including those that are coming from nations that have come to learn from the African National Congress, having assumed power and want to learn from a party that is a liberation movement and is a party that is in power and has developed a relationship or established a relationship with the other parties in Brics.
Speaking of learning from the ANC, maybe in the context of the African continent, there's been a lot that is being said about Brics being a potential game changer, changing not only the political but the economic landscape of the world. And so what kind of issues will be on the table in terms of each party from various countries getting their houses in order to present a formidable front?
The important thing is about mutual respect, as well as capacity to complement each other, both politically and economically. Looking at issues of trade going into the future, as well as our common outlook around promotion of multilateralism and peace in the continent. The other issues have to do with access to resources for emerging markets and diversification of trade relations, not only amongst Brics parties but also across the globe, because what it will seek to do is to also make sure that we consolidate our capacity as well as our potential and be in a position of becoming a very forceful and determined partner that can do away with the domination of one against the many, as well as the exploitation of the emerging markets. We seek to ensure that in the deliberations also the Brics parties focus on how best we can, all of us united, help towards the development of Africa.
You mentioned that the ZANU-PF will also be in attendance. What is the ANC's policy when it comes to Zimbabwe? Previously, it was quiet diplomacy. The ANC of today, how would you characterize the position towards Zimbabwe?
We remain committed towards respect of sovereignty of any nation. We are quite vocal around promotion of democracy and public participation, and that continues to be our position around the situation in Zimbabwe, and we believe that it is also a global responsibility that all of us who believe in peace and social justice must actually call for an end towards the sanctions against Zimbabwe and give Zimbabwe a chance to grow and have the leadership of Zimbabwe as well, focusing on what is good for the Zimbabweans, for the prosperity of our region and the prosperity of the continent.
Will be deliberated on next week. We understand that President Cyril Ramaphosa has appointed a high-level delegation that will travel to the United States. In the end, what is the wish in terms of the outcomes?
Our relationship with the United States of America exists on the basis of the respect for each other. And that we, in our quest for promotion of investments in South Africa, there must also be an appreciation that South Africa has also created an enabling space for the United States economy also to thrive. We take note also of the developments around AGOA that has been in existence for a while, and both South Africa and America have benefited from the program. However, we find it immoral that South Africa would have to be coerced into taking a side in a war that is not a party to, or to review our stance on being non-aligned, and hence we support the deployment of that delegation by Comrade President, so that then in the quest for mutual respect, we need to impress upon the United States that South Africa is not different. It forms partnerships that are beneficial to our national interests and to our citizens, and therefore that relationship with America must be viewed in that context.
We understand that political parties from South Africa have not been invited to this summit. Is that a missed opportunity?
Not at all. No party has been invited unless it has a particular reason to be in this summit. In this instance, we do believe that the ANC is the party that has promoted multi-party democracy. There are institutions for that through parliament and other processes. In this instance, the ANC has found it befitting and consistently so that we are the hosts, and therefore there's no missed opportunity that some of the parties in South Africa are not here. We are quite capable of representing the interests of South Africans, and with those that we have invited, our tripartite alliance, civil society organizations, including the invitation to the Pan-African Congress of Azania, that suffices. So we see no opportunity lost.
ANC Head of International Relations Subcommittee, Nomvula Mokonyane, thank you very much, ma'am, for your time this afternoon.